Okay, here's everyone for the speech. Look into the bright light. Okay, thank you everyone for. All right, thank you everyone for being here today to listen to my speech. Today I want to talk about something that's a little bit of a pet peeve of mine, and that is fake interests that promote themselves to be, from grassroots organizations like regular people like you and me. So there is actually a few that control the conversation for climate change, whose interest is to keep the status quo. I'm not going to try to convince anyone today about whether climate change is real or to go into the hard empirical science that shows the disturbing trends that affect our planet. I want to move the conversation on whether climate change is real and speak to who is funding opposition towards the facts of climate change. The issue is no longer a scientific one, it is a political one, with interest to hold onto old money. I want to move the conversation to shed light on who stands to benefit from the denial of climate change and who is controlling the conversation. So let's first talk about various organizations that promote ideas against climate change. We'll start by covering the Cato Institute, a group that does not deny outright that climate change is real. Rather, they promote the idea that humans' action does not cause climate change, and that it is a result of other natural phenomena beyond human control. They exert mixed messages stating human activities has been a contributor to global warming since 1975, all the while stating that Congress should not pass legislation restricting carbon dioxide emissions. So, who is a key contributor, shareholder, for many years and still active board member of the Cato Institute? Charles and David Koch. More on the Koch brothers as we move along. Next, we have the organization that's called the Heritage Foundation. They tout itself as a group conserving the principles and ideas of the American founding. That's a quote from them. And the Heritage Foundation presents the ideas that science linking carbon emissions for climate change is inconclusive, and a quote from them, far from settled. So who again is funding the operating think tanks that lie behind the Heritage Foundation? Well, the Heritage Foundation has received $4.5 million in donations from the Koch Foundation and nearly $1 million from ExxonMobil. So, a final group that I would like to speak about, and one that kind of sums up everything a little more, it is Americans for Prosperity. To quote Americans for Prosperity statement front and center on their homepage, "We protect the American dream by fighting each day for lower taxes, less government regulation, and economic prosperity for all." I feel this group sums up the case for explaining exactly how interest for industry is masqueraded by the mirage of grassroots conservatism. The site gives tips on how to recruit new volunteers for the cause of keeping government small, unobtrusive, and of course, above all, low on regulations that may affect big business. But wait, I thought Americans for Prosperity is for the regular working class citizen, the farmer who works hard against the big bad government. The site even shows farmers there and how government might intrude on their rights. And the name implies masses of people like you and me, Americans, and the title states that they are for prosperity. I mean, who's not for prosperity, right? Everyone wants to support wealth and job creation. With all things political, let us look at who funds Americans for Prosperity. And Americans for Prosperity was founded by, wait for it, Charles and David Koch. The grassroots organization was started by the 7th wealthiest people in America. They have a combined $99.2 billion net worth, according to the Bloomberg Billionaires Index. Koch brothers own a company called Koch Industries, and they received all of their wealth working in oil, and they're basically oil barons. So there are groups in the political spectrum that will lobby and push ideas to our government to keep the interests of a few. I believe this is taking place at the expense of the American people. We have fake groups touting themselves as the saviors of conservative ideals, all the while supporting the pockets of specialized interest groups. It is the interest of certain industries to change the conversation in the minds of the American people. They cannot directly promote the ideas that benefit them because the average citizen will be aware of who is the benefactor. The solution for specialized groups is a creative narrative of supporting the regular blue-collar worker. The groups founded by large industries can promote ideas to protect their bottom line by packaging their ideas as a benefit to the everyday person. So a quote from David Koch, this is a quote from an interview from an interview from the New Yorker, and it sums up the grassroots mirage of the Koch family. You might ask, how does David Koch happen to have the wealth to be so generous? He says, well, let me tell you a story. It all started when I was a little boy. One day, my father gave me an apple. I soon sold it for $5 and bought 2 apples and sold them for 10. Then I bought 4 apples and sold them for 20. Well, this went on day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, until my father died and left me $300 million. Thank you, everyone. You have a wonderful day.
Can I give you a suggestion?
I want to live myself.